All right. Kind of ashamed to say it, but I did it again. Bought another Chinese attachment. This here is a AGT 680 breaker, concrete breaker, rock breaker, whatever you want to call it. I need one for a job. These things supposedly have some pretty decent reviews. A lot of other guys have done videos on them. This is a skid steer mounted one. I'm not using it on a skid steer. We're gonna, well, you'll see in the video, but we're gonna make this mount up to our Volvo excavator. See what this thing's all about. All right, let's go over what all's included. Marley, not included. Anyway, so we got 2 bits, bottle of nitrogen, which, I don't know, let's see here. You open the valve and not a whole lot of anything in there, so this isn't very useful to us. However, I will say the guy I bought this from, he sells quite a few of these Chinese attachments, all different types. He was nice enough. He actually has his own bottle of nitrogen. He did pre-charge this for us. So that was very kind of him. We got some hoses, which are probably not long enough, so fortunately we're set up to make hoses, so we'll probably be revisiting them. And we got the infamous toolkit, which is full of water. So you got your nitrogen gas valve, which he did use this, and even though it's full of water, it does work. So yeah, and then this is just all the hardware that holds it together. Here's your drift pin for removing the roll pin to install the different bits. And you got a big, it's not called an impact wrench, a hammer wrench, I don't know. You put it on there and you whack this with a hammer. And we got a generic 24 and 27 millimeter spanner. All right, let's start unboxing this stuff. We'll give that some time, that'll dry off eventually. So like I mentioned, we're gonna be putting this on an excavator. So this part is the same whether it goes on a skid steer, excavator, whatever. So don't really have to do much for this. We do have to install the bit, grease it, and hook up our lines. Most of our work is gonna be is here. We need this plate. So we're gonna have to cut this off the skid steer mount. And then I have some S40 lugs for my 5-ton Volvo with steel race couplers that I'm going to weld onto here, and that'll enable us to run this hammer off the Volvo 50. Well, I guess we ought to cut this crate apart. This is what we need. So we gotta cut it off of there. And the welds don't look the greatest, but there's enough of them that it's not gonna be super easy. This is what we gotta weld on there. And just by looking at it, I think we're gonna be plenty fine to get that welded on there. That shouldn't be hard to do at all. We're not gonna be anywhere near the bolt holes, so that's a win. But yeah. We gotta get that plate off there. I think that's the right thing to do. Could just weld this to the hammer, but I think it's gonna be better to have the support of this plate to transfer the energy into there than to just run it through this. So, well, guess we're gonna have a little bit of a torching time lapse going on here. I just realized you guys somehow got flipped upside down. So I don't know how much of all that you saw, but anyway, we got this thing torched pretty good. I think we're ready to try and separate the two pieces and clean it up. That ain't awful, but definitely some cleanup. That took quite a bit of cleanup time. Mainly because I couldn't get the torch tight enough without really gouging in. You can see I got some spots, but it ain't gonna hurt. This steel's 5/8 thick probably. Maybe even 3/4 to be honest with you. But anyway, yeah, so it's cleaned up good enough, and we got our S40 lug cleaned up. So we're gonna set that on there, square it up, center it up, and tack it, and put a little bit of heat. This has heat in it, but we'll get some heat in that lug, and then we'll burn it in. All right, we got this thing all squared up, and we're ready to tack all 4 corners and a little bit of preheat and burn it in. Now we're just gonna get some heat into this attachment lug here. It's gonna help the weld penetrate a little bit better. So this thing's gonna suffer a lot of vibration. Obviously it's a breaker. So we'll get this warmed up some. The bottom plate's still pretty warm from torching everything off, so. It don't have to be cherry red or anything, just a couple 100 degrees would be good. Alright, got her all welded up. This thing's about 10 million degrees right now, so we're going to let her cool down naturally and shoot some paint on it and bolt it on and get on with this hammer. I can't even call it a build. Retrofit? I don't know what the term is, but we're going to make her work one way or another. In the meantime, while that's cooling down, let's make this thing look a little bit less Chinese. Get these cheap logos off here. Because I don't know about you guys, but I do kind of care about what I bring to my job sites. And while this hopefully is going to be a good attachment, it's just a bad image if you're taking cheap junk to job sites. Whatever, a tool's a tool. If it works for you, it works for you, but you know. Shot some paint on there while it's still hot. It's almost like powder coating. Bake it right in there. All right, while the paint's drying, let's put the chisel bit in there. So this here's your keeper pin. It's retained in there by a roll pin. It looks similar to that, but it's on this side here. So they give you this drift you put in there. And I'll tap that out and you'll see the roll pin come out, and this keeper will, I don't know if it'll probably drop down. So you want to keep an eye right here, you'll see the roll pin come out. That's all we had to do. And a little bit more. So you pull this out. It's got this groove here. It's what the roll pin holds there. So, yeah. Now we can slide the chisel in. First I want to try and blow all the junk out of here. So here's our chisel. It's wrapped in tin foil for some reason. I don't know why, but man, this stuff's pretty tough. Don't help, my knife's pretty dull. Alright, got that. Now we are going to put some grease in this, but so just to give you an idea how this works, you got this notch here. When that keeper goes in there, it rides in that notch. And that's what retains this chisel point in there. So I want to get some grease. We're going to put some grease all around this end here. Unfortunately, I don't have a hammer paste, but we'll put some moly grease in there. That'll be good enough for now. I'll drop this so it's not oriented right. Put it like that. Now you know you're good to go. You're gonna have to hold that up, obviously. There you go, chisel's installed. There is a grease point right here. Put a cover on it, but that ain't gonna survive, so now that's in there. Just make sure our grease point works. I was always told when you're running a hammer, you always want the chisel to be a little bit wet with grease running out of there. Because what happens is this whole hammer will get warm and the grease will kind of run. So when the grease dries up, you need to grease it again, or every hour if you're really running it that hard. We won't be running this one that hard though. Well, I guess it's time to put these two together. This could be interesting. So I think we want it to go like this. Okay, that's not gonna work like that. We're gonna have to slide this. Okay, that should work. This thing's still pretty warm. Oh no. Alright, we're gonna have to get a little creative here because I ain't gonna go like that. lift the hammer up a touch. I get a drift. I think that's how we want to do it. With the bolt heads down. Oh no. No. There is no way. Alright, so here's a problem I didn't think we'd have to deal with. So when you measure these, center to center, we are 11 3/4 of an inch. Now when you measure these, you are 12 1/4 inches. That's a half inch difference. That's a half-inch difference. Doesn't matter where you measure them. It doesn't matter which way you measure them. Those holes were never going to line up to that. How? That was not a problem I was expecting to have. Now, how do we fix it? Let me think on this a little bit. I couldn't believe it when I lined it all up and then when I started measuring. So that's why I had to take it apart further and try and figure this out. But yeah, my eyes and my tape measure's not lying to me. Alright. So I've determined that our spacing between here is wrong. So I loosened these bolts that hold the case together, hoping that I can get the mounting plate bolts started and then tighten them back up. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Okay. Boy. Yeah. Okay, that should work. Seems to be going okay. Alright, so we got that all lined up, I guess as good as it's going to get. I'll show you how these things work. These are just cap nuts. Nothing special here. Just make sure you got these seated. So you just take this thing here and I don't remember the term for these, but hammer wrenches maybe? It might be that simple. Put it on there and watch your ears. as you can see, that shimmed our gap up a lot better there. So we'll get the other one tightened up and then time for the exciting part. All right, look at that. Tilt rotator's off, hammer's on. So now we gotta get to this one to there and vice versa. So we came with these hoses, which I mean, actually might work. Yeah, they actually might work. Maybe we'll just use these hoses. All right, so here's our couplers. They're gonna be 1/2 inch male. And the hoses that come with it are female swivels. So, unless I've got some short male jumper hoses, which I might, we're gonna end up making our own lines here. So even though the hoses that came with it won't work, it's not really that big of a deal because if you remember, if you've seen our other videos, our friends over at discounthydraulichose.com hooked us up with a bunch of fittings and a hose. So we'll just make the right hose with the right fittings, right ends on it. So let's measure this out and get to it. So I think what we're gonna do is we'll take this off and we'll just double check that this is gonna be the right length hose. Okay. There's oil coming out of there. I guess that's a good sign. Okay, it's clean oil too. Let me get something to catch that. Wasn't expecting that. I don't really want this oil going into my machine anyway, so. While it's clean, it's pretty thin. So don't mind the mess. We haven't fully set this up yet, but this is what we got. So, I think this is JIC, but we want NPT. Yeah, it's JIC. I think we want to be somewhere down here. Yep, that's NPT. All right. So we don't have any swivel female 90s. 1/2 by 1/2. Let's go see if that fits on there. Okay, it threads on there, but that ain't right. Sometimes even a blind squirrel finds a nut. When I ordered from Discount Hydraulic Hose, I got some female pipe swivel fittings. Would you look at that? Perfect. A standard straight female fitting wouldn't work on there, but the swivels do. So, we just so happen to have 2 of them. Alright, so we got, how long is this hose here? We got roughly 60 inches. So we make our new hoses 72 inches. That should work. So we got our 6-foot mark here. We're going to put the end of the hose over there and wheel it out to here. And that's where we're gonna cut. So make a black mark on a black hose. Okay, try to get this straight. You guys can't see that. Okay. So we got our new line here. We'll crimp one of these on. Okay. Stick it up through the bottom. Collet ring, where's our collet? There it is. All right, we'll fire up our pump. Run her up to 4,000 psi. Cut the pump. Gotta wait for this to suck back in a little bit. And we'll measure. Let's see what we got. Our crimp diameter. 0.8. This. Alright, get our collet ring off there. Wiggle this thing free. Alright, now we want to be. So for 1/2 inch, we want to be between 0.935 and 945. Okay, got 3 more crimps to make and we'll be in business. Just gotta make sure we put the right ones on here. Same deal. I'm wondering if these crimp dimensions are not correct because we're crimping them tighter than it's asking for. Anyway, I'll be back with you when I get the other line done. But before I leave you and make any more hydraulic hoses, you gotta head over to discounthydraulichose.com, and if you need any hoses, they'll make them to your length. You even need fittings, they can set you up with a crimper, everything you need for hydraulic hoses, air brake hoses, any of that stuff, they've got it. If you use our code Abrams10, you'll help our channel, get yourself 10% off, and yeah, it'll help everybody out. So Discount Hydraulic Hose, go check them out. On this jumbled mess of stuff, we got some hose wrap. So may as well put some of that on while we're here. Keep these things from abrading too much. There we go. That should keep it from rubbing through anywhere. Well, you guys probably think I'm just a hot mess here, but I mean, some of you probably understand how it works, but when you've got your own business and it's busy season, keeping the shop clean is not really a high priority item. You kind of just come in here, get what you need, fix what you need, and get back to work. So we're just waiting on a rain day here to get this all cleaned up. It'll happen though. I'll clean that out. Well, that'd just be something if I crimped the wrong end on here. I really wouldn't be surprised. Okay. I guess that's not that big of a deal. That can always go on. Ew. Try and get that cleaned up a little bit. kind of want to run fluid through this and flush this out. You know, maybe we'll do that. We'll put an old line on there quick. See if we can flush this out. I don't really know if it matters which one to hook it to. So whichever one it goes on easiest, I guess. Which I guess is that one. Oh, maybe. Okay. All right. Never had to really do this because, sorry about that beep, that's ear piercing. When it boots up, this is normally, okay, right now it's set to bucket. Hammer. Was it that easy? I think we're good enough to try and start this because we're set up the hammer right now. Well, let's see if we can make a mess. I mean, at least we're not going to cover anything, but I'm going to put you guys out there though, because that could get pretty exciting. Alright, so if this goes to plan, this line should jump and shoot oil out of there. It's already leaking oil out, so I don't know if it's bleeding through or not, but anyway, let's see what happens. Well, oil came out and we broke our block. Okay. I'd like to run it a little bit longer than that because I'm not so sure I'd like that. Although, you know what, that's probably the, you know what, the oil in this machine is orange. So maybe we'll just let this run for a little bit. I think it's okay. But hey, that's a good sign. It split a piece of oak wood, so it should definitely break through concrete. I hope it didn't get my concrete. Nah, we're good. We're good. It's gotta have pressure on it to let fluid through it. Oh boy, that one got the concrete. Ah, oh, dumb. Ugh. Oh well. I'm kind of impressed. This thing works good. Taking it on a job tomorrow. I kind of hope it holds up, but first impressions, once we sort out the bolt hole issue, I think this thing's gonna be a pretty valuable asset. Gotta get some stickers for the side, make it my own, you know. But yeah, I got a little bit more concrete that I want to break up with it. So I think we're gonna head up to the old barn, and there's an old barn bridge that I had poured years ago that now serves no purpose because I moved the door to the other side. But anyway, go up there and we'll try our hammer and try and break that up. Okay, so the idea here is we don't need this barn bridge anymore. Put the door on the other side. So we're gonna try and break it all out because I want to cut the grade down here. yeah, see what it'll do. Now I do believe I put a piece of fence in here. So this is technically reinforced the farmer way. I just remember that now. So, we shall see. Oh yeah, pour it right up. Too close to the building because it does have rock under it, but we can pull it right out from underneath that building. Perfect. So I'll make all these pieces small enough that I can get them out of there later by hand if need be. I think we're going to leave some of this here though. Yeah, we're going to leave all that. I think that new post is sitting on that. Yeah, can't complain about that. Oh, look at all the ants. Yeah, that made short work of that. I mean, that was 4 or 5 inch concrete, 6 inch in some spots. Not bad. All right. Well, here's our patio. We got a demo. Let's go grab the hammer. You guys probably aren't going to see this very well, but where it is, there it is, the hammer. Now we're ready to hammer. Alright, so the idea here is all this stamped concrete's got to come out, and we're going to dig a foundation here. But this video is only for the hammer, so I'm just going to get you some footage of breaking this up, and that will probably end this video. Alright, well, here we go. Chip it away. Oh boy, this stuff might be pretty tough. Nope, this isn't that bad at all. I just want to get it tucked away from this little window well here. They just poured up against it or what they did with that, but look, now we got some rain. Good, that'll keep the dust down. Also, I'm trying to just be kind of easy on this and not really hammer it real hard. I feel like it's a little more controlled. At least around here. It's tough concrete, I'll tell you that much. that's good. I wonder if this hammer is going to set the security system off in the house. Guess we'll find out if the cops show up. Alright, so far, this thing is working phenomenal. Let me take a little bit to explain about my technique here. So right here you can see the tip of the breaker. That's a saw cut. So that's an expansion joint that they get cut in the concrete to control the cracking. There's another one right here. So, with a hammer, you need to make sure the energy has somewhere to go. So let me just get this out here and I'll show you. So if the energy has nowhere to go, let's show you something like this. This might not be a good test, but if the energy has nowhere to go, you'll just bore a hole through it like that, okay? But if that energy has somewhere to go, right here, it breaks away. Now, what we're trying to do here, since we're digging a foundation, we're going to try and keep some of this material here. So, if we break it down nice and small, we can use it for backfill. So that's why along the house there, I didn't break it away very much, because I don't want to put pressure on the foundation of the house. So, by doing this, we're able to control where the force, the energy goes. And it makes it a little bit less work for the breaker too. So you just keep pecking away here. At an edge there, just work your way out. And then when you get spots like this open, all the way out here, then you can start breaking, because then the energy will come back towards you instead of into the house. Will it be enough to hurt the foundation? I'm not sure. Probably not, but I don't really want to find out. But yeah, that's a little bit of the logic behind running a breaker. To be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of experience in a small breaker. Most of the ones so this is a 680 pound hammer, I guess you'd call it. I'm used to run like 4,000, 5,000 pound hammers on like 160s and 300 size machines, so this is a little guy. But same logic. Well, there it is. All broken up. You grease the hammer up while it's still warm. This thing works nice. We're gonna call this thing a success. I would definitely recommend one of these as of now. If anything changes, there'll be a video on it. But as of right now, this is a good bargain. So, what do I have invested into this? So, I paid $1,700 for the hammer, that skid steer mount. I have about 5 hours of labor, maybe a little less, into cutting that off, cleaning it up, welding this, making the hoses, putting the hoses on, testing. So let's call it like 3.5 hours. The hoses, so quick connect fittings, they are about $60 a set from Summit Hydraulics. The hose is $5. Nah, I think it's like $5 a foot. So we got 12 feet. So there's 60 bucks there. Hose ends are about $6 a piece. Let's figure 7 times 4, 28. So we got 30 bucks. We got 60 bucks into the hose. Right? No. $90 into the hose. $60 in the couplings. So we got $150 into the hose set plus $1,700. This lug here, want to say when I bought it with the excavator, it was like 200 bucks. So all in all, we have about $2,100 into this, not including labor. Not bad for a hydraulic hammer for a 5-ton machine. I want to say like a name brand one is maybe 10, 12-ish for this size. So I could buy a couple of these before I made up the cost of the other one, or of a name brand one. So like I said, I think we're gonna end it here. This has been experience. Normally the Chinese stuff I get's garbage. This one here seems to be pretty nice. So until next time, thanks for watching.